Let's get started with today's story. It all began with a party. "Hey babe," Sarah called out from the bedroom one Saturday evening. She was digging through her closet, holding up outfits like she was trying out for a part. "Do you think the red one or the black one?" I leaned against the doorframe, smiling. "Black. Always black. Red's too flashy for you." "Flashy is just what I need," she said with a wink that should have been my first warning. Sarah wasn't really a flashy type of person. She was kind, reliable, the sort who planned everything out. But lately, she'd been uneasy, going out more, meeting people I'd never met. This party was just another one of those networking events, she claimed. I didn't question it much. I trusted her. That night, Sarah left looking gorgeous, her hair flowing down her back, her lips a bold shade of red. I kissed her goodbye at the door. "Don't have too much fun without me," I teased. "Promise," she said, giving me a smile that I now see wasn't fully sincere. I stayed in that night, channel surfing, trying to stay occupied. The house felt oddly silent without Sarah, and I kept checking my phone, hoping for a message from her. Around midnight, I texted her. "Hey, having fun?" "Yeah, it's awesome. Home soon," she replied. That eased me a bit, but as time dragged on, my concern built. By 2 a.m., I was barely paying attention to the film on TV. Something felt wrong. Sarah wasn't the type to stay out this late without another update. I grabbed my phone and looked at her text, wondering if I should call. "Don't overthink it, Michael. She's okay," I told myself. But by 3 a.m., I was pacing the living room, my thoughts spiraling into nightmares. Had she been in a crash? Was she safe? Just as I was about to dial her number, the front door creaked open. The sight of her stopped me cold. Sarah staggered in, her hair a mess, her lipstick smeared across her cheek. Her heels hung from one hand, and the strong smell of alcohol hit me as she closed the door. "Jesus, Sarah," I said, hurrying over, as she almost tripped on the rug's edge. "What the hell happened?" She let out a mumbled laugh and brushed me off. "I'm okay," she slurred, her voice heavy with tiredness and drink. "Just had a little too much." "Yeah, I can tell," I said, steadying her as she wobbled. Her eyes were unfocused, and her mascara had streaked down her face, like she'd been crying or perspiring. I fetched her water and guided her to bed, figuring it was just one of those wild nights. Everyone needs to let loose sometimes, right? The next morning, Sarah was quieter than normal. She grimaced as she sat for breakfast, like she was in physical discomfort. "You all right?" I asked, pouring her coffee. "Yeah, just a hangover, that's all." But over the following days, her mood stayed low. She seemed withdrawn, unfocused, and more snappy than ever. And then there was her phone. She began keeping its screen down, carrying it everywhere, even to the shower. "Is everything okay with you?" I finally asked one evening during TV time. "Of course, why wouldn't it be?" she shot back, a bit too sharply. I didn't push further. I should have. About a week later, I got home from work ahead of schedule. As I approached the kitchen, I heard Sarah's voice from the bedroom, her tone sharp and businesslike. Curiosity won out, and I stopped just outside, staying hidden. "Yes, that time works. I'll stop by around 11, she said. There was a pause, likely as the other person responded. "No, I'd rather keep it confidential for now. Yes, thank you. See you Thursday." Her words were unclear, but it wasn't hard to guess she was booking some sort of medical visit. My stomach nodded. Why hadn't she mentioned it? If something was wrong, wouldn't I be the first she'd confide in? I knocked softly and entered. "Hey, everything good?" I asked, keeping it casual. Sarah startled a little. "Michael, I didn't hear you get in." She tucked her phone away fast and put on a smile.
"Yeah, all fine. Just chatting with a friend." I nodded, but it felt strange. She looked on edge, like she'd been caught. The talk had sounded official, like with a specialist. It didn't match up. "Oh," I said lightly. "Anything fun?" "Not really," she answered quickly. "Just setting up something for next week." She focused on folding clothes on the bed, avoiding eye contact. If it was innocent, why the nerves? My instinct said there was more, but I tried to ignore it. "All right," I said, heading out. "Just checking." "Thanks," she replied, her voice strained. As I left, my thoughts raced. Something was wrong. Sarah and I didn't hide things, not like this. If it was a health concern, she'd have shared. Maybe it was minor, or maybe she was concealing something. On the day of her appointment, I chose to tail her. I know it seems intrusive, but the doubt was consuming me. I had to know. She left around 10:30 a.m., in jeans and a sweater, bag over her shoulder. I waited a bit, then followed, keeping back. I shadowed her across town until she parked at a plain, small health center. My heart dropped. This wasn't a standard doctor's place. It was a testing lab, the type for specific checks. My mind filled with awful ideas. Sarah was inside for about an hour. When she came out, she looked stressed, shoulders tight, steps hurried. She drove off without spotting me nearby. That evening, I waited for a chance. After dinner, Sarah said she was showering. As the water ran, I went to the bedroom and searched her purse. My hands shook as I looked, half wishing I'd find nothing. But there it was, a folded slip in a side pocket. I opened it, eyes racing over the text. Receipt for lab services. Test, STD panel. The floor seemed to vanish beneath me. My gut twisted as the meaning sank in. Sarah had gotten an STD test. Why? Questions flooded me, each more grim. Was she ill? Did she suspect I'd strayed? Or had she done something regrettable? As I held that receipt, the shower stopped. Panic hit. I stuffed it back and went to the living room, pretending to browse my phone. But my pulse raced, and I knew the truth, whatever it was, would surface soon. That night, Sarah went to bed early, saying she felt off. I didn't probe, though my brain was in overdrive. I couldn't ignore the receipt's weight in her purse and my thoughts. The questions mounted. Why an STD test? What was she keeping secret? I waited until her breathing evened out. Quietly, I took her phone from the nightstand. My heart thumped as I sat in the dim living room, the screen's light on my face. I despised snooping, but the urge for truth outweighed guilt. Her phone was open, something I'd taken for granted. I checked her messages, scrolling through. Most were everyday, work or pals. But then, a chat with someone unfamiliar, saved as Lisa. It started harmlessly, Sarah thanking Lisa for the party invite. As I read on, my stomach turned. "Girl, you were insane that night. Can't believe you went there," Lisa wrote. "Please don't bring it up. I was so wasted, I hardly recall most of it," Sarah replied. "Well, I've got the proof if you forget," Lisa added. I felt nauseous. What did she mean? I scrolled quicker, and there it was, a series of pics and clips from Lisa. My hand shook as I opened the first video. The blurry footage showed Sarah in a packed room, swaying to loud music. A guy's arm was around her, drawing her near, and she didn't pull away. Another pic had her laughing, head back, with two men nearby, their looks obvious. Then the video that broke me. Sarah in a bedroom, camera unsteady but clear. She was with 3 men simultaneously. The room tilted as I watched, my insides nodding. She was giggling, tripping, words slurred, but not resisting. They were touching, kissing, guiding her to the bed, and she allowed it. I stopped the video, unable to continue. My chest caved. This wasn't a simple slip. It was beyond that, something I couldn't grasp.
But I knew I needed proof. Hands trembling, I sent the whole thread, pics, videos, all to my phone. Once transferred, I deleted it from hers carefully. If she looked, she'd see nothing amiss. I sat there ages, staring at the device. How could this be? The woman I loved, who I thought I knew, had done this. I wanted to rouse her, demand explanations, but not yet. Instead, I replaced the phone and sat in the dark living room, mind whirling. This went beyond the STD test. It was betrayal I never foresaw. I couldn't overlook it. The truth was exposed, and eventually I'd confront her. I didn't sleep that night, the burden of discovery heavy. The video, messages, everything about Sarah's deceit churned inside. I couldn't hold it in. She had to own up. When Sarah awoke the next morning, I stayed silent. I just took my phone and began forwarding the photos and videos to her family, her friends, everyone important. I wouldn't let her keep deceiving, acting like the person she used to be. She entered the living room and halted, staring at her phone in terror. I saw the fear in her eyes as it dawned on her. What have you done?" Her voice mixed dread and shock. "I told them the truth," I said flatly. "Everyone knows who you truly are now. They know your secret." "Michael, please." She stepped toward me, but I raised my hand. "No," I said, anger rising. "You don't get to hide anymore. You don't get to lie and pretend I don't know what you've done." She shook her head, starting to cry. "I didn't mean it. It was a mistake. I was drunk and—" "Don't," I cut in. "You knew what was going on. You knew, and now you face the fallout." Her face broke as tears flowed. "Michael, please, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. It was just a mistake." "A mistake," I snapped, voice louder. "You didn't just err. You cheated with 3 guys. 3 at once. And now you think you can dismiss it?" "I didn't want to hurt you," she sobbed softly. "I swear, I didn't plan this." I stared, heart cold. "You didn't want to hurt me? You only thought of yourself. Do you know how I felt seeing those videos? How you made me feel like an idiot?" She reached for my hand, but I withdrew. "No, you can't fix this. Not now, not ever." "I'll do anything, Michael. Therapy, whatever. I'll show you it was a one-time thing. Please," she pleaded. "You don't understand," I said icily. "I know about the STD test, too. The one because you suspected trouble. And now I'm left dealing with it." Her eyes grew wide, realizing I knew. "Michael, I wasn't thinking straight. It just happened. But I never meant to hurt you." I interrupted. "No more excuses, Sarah. It's done. I'm filing for divorce." Her face dropped, shock clear. She stepped back like the words hit her. "You're serious?" she whispered. "Yes," I replied steadily. "You destroyed this. You destroyed us. I'm finished." She sank onto the couch, crying hard. "Please, Michael, don't go. I love you." "I loved you too," I said softly, turning to leave. But that's gone now. As I walked out, I felt empty. The woman I knew, loved, was no more. The one before me was a stranger, and I wouldn't waste more time mending her damage. Eventually, Sarah's results were positive. I got tested, scared of what I'd learn. Luckily, mine were clean. Her family and friends were horrified by the shared media. They couldn't fathom her doing that. Her ideal image shattered, leaving her alone with the repercussions. Months later, the divorce wrapped up. The fights were exhausting, but her deeds were undeniable. She got zilch, no support, no property. I wouldn't let her gain from her chaos. As time went on, I rebuilt. Sarah tried counseling, but it didn't help. She called often, seeking forgiveness, but I was over it. The calls tapered off. I moved forward, and she vanished from my world. The deceit, once raw, became faint echoes. Life went on, and for the first time in ages, I felt truly liberated. Thank you for watching.